I'm back. Just really trying to make sure this is all working. Oops. I don't even have Restream open. Oh! What is going on? Restart Chatterino now. I know what happened. I accidentally banned Restream bot. I know what happened. I know what happened. I know what happened now. I accidentally banned Restream bot instead of deleting the messages. I just try. Usually, what I do is I delete the message. I'm getting things all situated now. It's fine. There we go. Hey, I'm ready to play. Okay, let me just go to let me just do normal conquest. I mean, I could continue doing this, but it seems to be like, I don't know, it's giving me stuff. And there's only 3 hours left. I already got the 4 games, and I need to... I need to get these other things. So I need to win one more game.
No more mistakes. Enemy missing. Bye. I'll gank. I'll defend the left lane. Right lane. Curse it all. I'll attack left lane. Defend the Gold Fury. I'll defend. I'll gank middle lane. Follow me. Roma Invicta! I'm returning to base. Enemies in the middle lane. Group up. Defend right lane. I'll defend. Retreat. Middle lane. Enemies incoming. Spotted. Attack left lane.
Ugh. Diamond Thanatos. Pretty intense. The skins in this game are pretty intense.
I sense a battle approaching. Let us hope our enemies have skill.
go Thanatos. Take the tower down. Oh, they also have Thanatos. Yeah, no. Sheesh. The hot one. Thanatos. Thanatos. Petros Thanatos.
I'm not so easily defeated.
Okay, at least I'm not like, our team's not like super far behind like the last game. Looks like we're kind of just keeping up pace a little bit. A little bit behind. Not like terribly. Bing bong! We're getting it. Sammy's Naimi? Yeah, I mean, it's an aesthetic that's probably been imbued into you by movies and television. Like that 70s show. Also, like 90s shows like Family Matters. Or like Step by Step or Full House. Prince of Bel-Air, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's definitely like got a 90s aesthetic to it. Moesha, I used to like watch all those shows. They were probably appropriating a lot of black culture, but
An ally has been slain.
That's just how network television is, you know. I still think I don't know. I don't really like to think of things as like set in stone as far as like culture appreciation. And in general, I tend to like not speak for other people. Like, for all I know, like all these shows are actually really respected in the black community. So I don't know. I don't really know. There was a trans character in the Jeffersons, and that was like in the 70s. There was like an episode where like, I guess one of the character in the Jeffersons like accepted like an old friend who'd like transitioned and had surgery. Like that was like a thing. Like that was in the 70s. There was a TV show, a sitcom that actually dealt with the acceptance of a trans person. Like this is not something new. There's no such thing as this weird like woke culture or whatever the fuck these people are doing. There's no such thing, okay? It's been around. I don't understand where these people get these notion that it's like it's new or it's a trend. And I was even going earlier, we're looking into mythology because Smite's a game of gods, and so there's also multiple cultures throughout history have had different mythologies, and they seem to be very trans. Like the archangels in Hebrew mythology, and like Eastern Orthodox and all that. We were talking about the archangels and all that. So Ariel is mostly female, but is sometimes male. Like different, depending on like the story and like the origin. Like there's different versions of like the same things, and like the god itself, like there, and also like in Norse mythology, I think Freya and Freyr are like the same person apparently. Like they're just male and female halves, or I guess Norse gods always have male and female halves. Like literally, like there's mythologies where the gods are like bi-gender. Like it's totally a thing, and these are like tens of thousands of years of history of human culture. This is not new. It's not a TikTok trend. Gender reassignment surgery has been around since the 30s. Like, and also, you know, like, at least for male to female. It's like, I mean, it's been improved, but like, I mean, I don't know about the. I know that like vaginoplasty itself was come up with during the 30s. I don't think they perfected it kind of until like the 50s. Even then, it's still not perfected. But even then, it's like back then, that was better than nothing. Gender reassignment surgeries have existed for all time. You know, guess how many, I mean, think about what people would have done like 10,000 years ago. They probably would have castrated themselves at least. Or, you know, just performed orchiectomy the best they can. That at the very least is a gender confirming surgery. It doesn't have to be specifics like with a robot. That's just better technology. That's just better medicine. That's an evolution of medicine. That's not changing the actual necessities of what trans people need. Just like mental health care has been different. Like they found skulls with like holes drilled into the back of them. That used to be the treatment for like schizophrenia and stuff like that. Like they used to think that there was pressure in your skull, and that in order to release it, they had to like drill a hole into your skull to let the pressure out. They thought that's literally what they thought like was mental health issues. They thought that was a cure to mental illness. And maybe it was in it, but not in the way they think it was. Maybe the traumatic experience of living through it forced people to and also I think there's also a placebo effect that makes it real. Because like if somebody's intention is to heal and they know like, hey, this procedure will heal me, then their brain, they start thinking about healing, and then they actually start trying to heal their mental illness. So like it might just be a placebo effect at that point, but we know better than that now. Like we're not guessing anymore. We actually have data and evidence. That's what science is. It's not inventing things. It's just discovering better ways to do things. It's not like transness has always existed, but how we navigate life as a trans person has changed. And our medical treatment has changed. That's not different. I mean, that's different, but actually being trans is like inherent to being a human. And like the more I look into various different world mythologies, the more that's confirmed. Oh no, I didn't do enough damage. I don't know the specifics about the history of like the medical treatments and all that, but you know, like what would have people done like tens of thousands, like 10,000 years ago, for example? Like if somebody was trans 10,000 years ago, they probably tried to find natural sources of estrogen. They probably had at least like orchiectomy procedure, if not like castration, or even you know, or even emasculinization, which is where they remove everything. And, you know, that's like a complete penectomy and all that. At the very least, like people have probably tried to like turn things into a vagina, like, but then you know it's probably very crude and it's probably very they probably like lost it. Like I don't know, like people have probably tried a lot of things. Okay, like transness and gender dysphoria has been a thing since the beginning of time. Okay, like, and if you look at cross cultures throughout history, like multiple gods are like multiple genders, no genders. I mean, just think about like just classic, you know, Abrahamic religions. Like you know, like you look at like you know, like ancient the stuff in like the Torah, like about in like ancient Judaism, like where they talked about the burning bush, right? So like literally God took the form of a bush that was burning. Okay, like that's literally trans. Like God took the form of something other than, you know, that's the whole nature, is that, you know, it's like, you know, angels and demons and gods, they are like some kind of they can change their representation. Like that's what makes them not human. And we are a part of them, so that means that that we are made from them, apparently, according to these religions. I'm just saying, like, it's weird how like a lot of people have warped religion to be the opposite. They think it's this rigid set of rules. Ancient Rome had an emperor that was trans. He allowed women in politics, and he died at the age of 18. A lot of people died even before 18 back then. There was a lot of changing of power in the Roman Empire, and they ultimately failed. But yeah, like people were trans, and they always have been. And I don't know why people think that this is some kind of TikTok trend. Like I don't know why people would even believe that. It just doesn't make any sense. The more you learn about the world and the more you learn about history, the more accepting of people you tend to become. But then some people are still very close-minded anyway. Knowledge isn't always a path to empathy, but it is a start. You know, if you live in, and you notice like in more like kind of urban areas where there's a lot more people of diversity living around, you tend to have more progressive values because there's more people that you have to think about. It's not just one community. It's not just white, like white Christian community. It's like you got people of different religions, different cultures. You know, we all have to live together somehow. And some things have, you know, you can't have certain things exist at the same time. You can't allow a culture of non-acceptance mixed with the culture of acceptance. Because if you don't accept somebody for being who they are, that just goes completely at odds with like people who are that thing. Like being trans and being a part of a community that doesn't accept trans people is just not gonna work. And are you talking about Xerxes? I think like Xerxes was like like hella trans. And then, you know, like and the idea of aesthetic beauty has also changed across time. Like in ancient Egyptian times, being feminized, like what we would consider feminized, was actually considered very masculine back in ancient Egyptian days. Like wearing heavy makeup was a sign of power, because if you had makeup, you know, the kind of, you know, that means that you had power, you had slaves, you had, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like if you were an ancient Egyptian, and you had all this stuff where you could take baths, you could soak yourself in oils, you could take care of your skin, you could put makeup on your skin. Like that was considered a sign of power. That was considered very masculine. but today that would be seen as feminine. It's just Emperor Elagabalus. Elagabalus. Yeah, I mean, there's like shit like that all throughout history. There's honestly, history's also hella gay. Like, there's hella gay people in history. You know why? It's because gay people exist. Trans people exist. It's just, I don't know. Like, they were probably not, like, totally accepted by people. I'm sure people saw them as, like, weird. But, like, at the same time, like, they still existed. You know, we've always been around. And also, I feel like we're more natural than the alternative of forcing yourself into a rigid set of gender roles or gender expression. Like, I don't know, like, the more I learn about world culture and world mythology, like different mythology throughout history in different cultures, the more I'm convinced that transness is like the natural state of existence. It's like, you're born into this world, and if you go by Abrahamic mythology, then it's like you're literally like born as a part of God, and like God is trans. Like, you know, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That's 3 different things, right? I don't know. People start to get the wrong idea when you start talking about religion, because there's so many interpretations of like what people think religion is. Because, like, you know, when somebody says they're like Christian, I immediately like feel like that person is probably going to be a bad person to be around, and that's kind of sad because there's nothing inherently wrong with Christianity. There's just something wrong with a lot of people who practice it, or tell them, or convince themselves that they're practicing it. Because everybody I've met who truly practices Christianity has been accepting of LGBTQ people. Like 100%. And there might be, like, you know, there's always, you know, there's still some residual bias. You know, just because it's a cultural thing. Like, you know, they have a lot of deeply ingrained beliefs, you know, from a different generation of people. I really think it was the silent generation's fault. Like, I think they're like the people in like I think it was during the 1800s, and that permeated, and then the boomers were like the ones that like, they were like the recipients of that, but they started to change, but they were just super toxic about it. They were like, oh, I don't want to be like my parents. I'm just going to completely burn out. I'm going to go do drugs and party and like go be a rebel or whatever. And that's what the boomers did. Or they just like, you know, buckled down and did what, you know, like there's a whole bunch of shit that happened. I don't know. It's not really one thing. But I feel like it's like the 1800s, like it's like after the country was formed, like a very specific form of like a way of thinking permeated throughout the United States, and it's like, it's basically like we were supposed to be free from British rule, but we basically became the New Britain. Like, it was like the same thing, but with a different name. I don't know, I'm sure there's like a lot more I'm missing. There's a lot of stuff about history that just I don't know about. There's people who know a lot more than me. Make sure to claim all your drops. The fuck?
Destroyed the Gold Fury.
And yeah, of course, you know, you tell this to people who are like super fundamentalist, religious. You know, they try to make any excuse to say why, like, oh, that's a lie. You're going against God. Like, where are they getting their information? Like, I'm getting my information from actual like history. They're getting their information from whatever their church tells them. From some random person standing on a frickin' pulpit and spreading their own frickin' cultist ideas. Like, that's not church. That's like a cult. And they call themselves Christian churches, and they're not. They're literally just somebody who wants to spread hate, and they permeate through their entire community. And and the thing is, a lot of the people, it's not really their fault. You know, they're kind of like, it's a part of their community, and they trust that person because they're like, oh, that's the pastor. I trust that person. And that person is like filling them with freaking hateful beliefs. And they're like, oh, well, the pastor says it's from God. And I've been told by the pastor my whole life that, you know, God loves you and you have to follow the Bible. And if you don't follow the Bible, God will punish you. And like, it's just a matter of control. Like, people just want to control. It's ridiculous. I didn't know why we didn't vote to surrender. Like, oh, because... Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Nice. You went to Crane for a while. XYP Razor, welcome back. I specifically canceled my affiliate because it's a stupid thing to do. You should not have affiliate. It's a false sense of progress to think that having affiliate means anything. Because honestly, I made like maybe like a few $100s over the course of 3 years from being affiliate. And the thing is if you're affiliate, you're limited in a lot of what you can do in order to grow. It's limiting your growth because I can't. And now I'm using Restream, so like now I'm restreaming to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter, to DLive. You know, like I can restream across multiple platforms. But not only that, I don't have to wait 24 hours before I like make a YouTube video and about from a stream. Although honestly, a lot of the stuff I'm doing for YouTube should not be done on stream. I should do it with more intent and more focus. But honestly, I'm trying to do as much as possible. I don't want to limit myself in what I can do. You know, like taking away affiliates is probably the best thing I possibly did for my channel. And I think just so many people just have this false sense of progress. And Twitch kind of encourages it. Because they're like, oh, path to affiliate. Here you go. You got an average of 3 viewers. Path to affiliate. Like it's some kind of like huge achievement. And it's not. Yeah. Are you making any money at all now? I have SSI. So I got SSI. It's been a while for you, hasn't it? And I'm sorry that you had to go through all the stuff with Russia invading Ukraine. But it's been a while. I got SSI. I had my orchiectomy in February 24th. I'm having my facial surgery in November. And I'm still on the wait list for vaginoplasty, but that's happening sometime next summer, like a year from now. Oh, you did? Oh, I already have all the gods, don't I? Or something, I don't know. Jeez, a shield? I mean, Achilles, what a hunk of a man. Jesus Christ, dude. Holy shit. What a fucking beautiful man. Jesus Christ. And people think men aren't sexualized in video games. Jesus Christ, dude. That guy, you could freaking like peel potatoes on that guy. And Bologna, she's like the hottest woman ever. Jeez. This is limited. If I keep doing, I need to get this one. This is the one I want. I don't know how to get this. It'll never be available again. You're the American? You've interacted with me on Twitter, you just don't publicly air that fact now that I'm back in the US? What? I don't get what you mean. I have no idea what you're talking about. you know, one day we'll return to, one day, I think humanity is on its way out of this, like, really, like, rigid authoritarianism, but it's going to be really painful transition, so to speak. It's really going to be painful because I think what's going to happen is we're going to return to the way things originally were. The more technology we get and the more understanding and empathy we get, I think the more we're going to return to the ancient days. Where people are going to, like, I feel like there's going to be a huge renaissance of, like, art, and technology is going to serve us rather than dictate our lives. Where I think we're going to return to the very basics. Where people, like, I feel like that's the natural state of things, like, is that humans just want to exist with nature and, like, exist as we are, however that may be. Like, whether you're trans or not. Like, and also, like, the idea of either trans or cis as, like, some kind of set in stone thing. I feel like that just the nature of existence is just you are who you are no matter what.
Bologna.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be really difficult. I'm just saying I think that's where humanity's heading. However long that takes. I don't think it might not happen in our lifetime. I'm just saying I think that's where humanity's heading, is we're going back to the ancient days. But with technology serving us. Like, the difference is that, you know, we're going to have an age of prosperity, of pure, like, peace, unified human species. And obviously there's probably still going to be problems, but what I'm saying is, like, I feel like a lot of the stuff of like policing morality and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that's going to be a thing in the past. Because if you think about it, of how giant the universe is, if you don't belong in a certain community, go to a different planet. You know, if we can, like, learn how to travel the stars, we're going to return to basic ancient history, like, but with the difference of having knowledge of what things can be, so we can prevent it. You know, I feel like that's where things will head eventually. It's just, it's going to be very painful, and a lot of people are going to suffer, and it's really sad. But I feel like that's the natural existence of the universe, is that eventually we return to peace and prosperity. I mean, if we're unified as a human species to surviving and thriving, we have no room for hate. We have no room for, like, saying, oh, well, I'm not you, so therefore you're my enemy. It's this idea of us versus them that's it's been a problem since the very beginning of the species, okay? Like, we are all us, okay? It's not United States versus Russia. It's not like, you know, it's not that kind of thing, okay? We are all human. We are all the same species. We're just different flavors of the same species. Some people are gay, some people are straight, some people are black, some people are white. You know, some people are, you know, some people find sex to be shameful. Some don't. Okay? There's different ways of thinking. It doesn't mean that we have to, like, force our own way of thinking on everyone else. It just means that we have to somehow interact and live in peace. Peace does not mean, like, accepting everyone else. You know, like, peace just means that you get along. That you can exist together. That you don't have to worry about someone, like, taking away your basic human rights just for being something that they don't accept. Okay? Like, peace does not mean, like, everyone's happy, you know, everyone's just smiling, singing all the time. That's not what peace is. Peace is just, hey, I don't have to worry about my neighbor killing me today because they own, like, a part of land that their ancient, like, their grandfather's grandfather owned, and my grandfather's grandfather owned part of that land. Like there's it's like that shit is, like, not helping. Okay, like, that shit has always been a problem for, like, thousands of years of people just insisting that, oh, it's my stuff. It's my way of thinking, my way or the highway, you know. Our religion is the true religion, like, that kind of thing. Like, that, it doesn't mean, like, you should just, like, stop practicing your religion. What it means is like you accept that there's other people who don't believe in the same kind of beliefs you have, and that you still have to live and exist in the same planet. And we only have one planet, and we find, and it's like we don't have faster than light travel available to us. There may be ways to travel without resorting to, without violating the laws of physics that would allow us to travel the stars, but we don't know that yet. There's evidence of it. Apparently they created a warp bubble. But it was so small and for such a short amount of time. But apparently the proof of concept has been shown. That apparently you can go fast. You don't have to go faster than the speed of light to travel distances that require like like if you want to go 1 light year, it takes a year of at the speed of light. Apparently, if there's ways to like ride subspace, like a surfboard. And you're not actually going faster than the speed of light, you're just traveling across space in a different way. And so like they've actually, I don't know all the details, and it's probably not anywhere near like what you think of like Star Trek or whatever, but like they found some kind of evidence. And it's not being researched because it was actually an accident. Like they actually discovered it by accident. And like the funding was actually for something else. Because we're trying to take care of problems here on Earth right now. And so that's what they're doing in space. All the funding in space is in order to, most of the funding in space is not to like, you know, travel the stars, even though that's a huge goal long term. Most of it is to like, you know, figure out how to do stuff here on Earth. Because there's stuff that we can find out within planets in our solar system and just in space in general that can teach us a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of the technology and stuff that we have here on Earth was actually discovered out in space. And there's more details on this. I don't know a lot of specifics, but I know the bigger picture is that, you know, basically return to monkey. But it's not like people think like, oh, we went too far and we need to go back. No, we should never go back, because if we went back, we're going to repeat everything again. So it's not about going back. It's about changing how we interact with each other and changing how we interact with the world and the universe around us. It's not about returning to the ancient days. It's about moving forward past this dark day. Because right now, people are policing morality, denying legitimate, like, actual facts. Like, there's misinformation, like, leading people to just foster hostile environments to people who are, like, the most at risk of, like, self-harm and stuff like that. Like, trans people are just being completely shit on when we've always existed. And it's just like, it's so fucked up. And it's like, at what point do people say, we're done? We're done with that. Like, it's not benefiting anyone. Even the people who it seems to be benefiting. Like, it's literally hurting the entire species. There's nothing good coming from policing morality and forcing everyone into a rigid set of beliefs. Like, there's literally nothing good from that for anyone. Because the people in your community, if you say, oh, it's wrong, it's a sin to be gay, it's wrong to be gay, well, there's literally people in your community who are gay, and now because you foster that hateful belief, they're gonna feel like they're wrong. They're gonna feel like they're evil because they were told they're evil. But those are literally people in your community. They're not different just because they're in your church. They're still people. And so it's like it's just really closed-minded. Everyone had at least one gay thought in their lifetime. I mean, yeah, because it's natural. Just like having non-gay thoughts is natural. You know, somebody can be gay and, like, sometimes be turned on by the opposite sex. Like, the opposite, like, sex characteristics. And when we say sex, we mean, like, body types. So, like, yeah, I am a, you know, I have a trans feminine body type. And I have a trans feminine body type that has had orchiectomy. And I will be a trans feminine body type that will have facial feminization. And I will have a trans body type that has a vagina. So, like, that's a body type. It's, you know, some people are turned on by that. And, you know, at some point, a straight person has thought about somebody of their own body type. Like a cisgender male has at some point thought about another male. Or somebody who's generally into only like cis feminine body types. Like, I mean, or like AFAB body types, like you know, well, I guess cis feminine. Like sometimes they like girl dick. Sometimes they like trans feminine body types. Sometimes they like male body types. But it doesn't make you gay, you know. That's more of like, hey, there's a consistency, and like what label is gonna help you through your life to live happier and to understand yourself better. And some people need the label, some people don't care about the label, some people are really opposed to the label. Like, there's all sorts of ways of existing on this earth. And none of them are right or wrong, except for the ones that are going around telling everyone else that they're wrong. You know, there's an ancient, I think it's like a Buddhist saying or something, is that there's many paths up the mountain, and all of them are correct, except the one that is staying at the bottom of the mountain, pointing fingers at everyone and saying that person is wrong. That's the wrong path. Because that's stupid. They're literally, everybody else is going to the top of the mountain. This person's staying at the bottom. It's very limited thinking. You know, once you start like opening up your mind and allowing ideas in, it's like you can never really go back. And it's not like somebody's like brainwashing you. In fact, it's like the opposite. Because now you're open. You can't be influenced because you're like thinking for yourself. And you know, it doesn't really matter to anyone, and it shouldn't. Your sexuality or lack thereof, like how you like are attracted to people, that's personal. It has nothing to do with anyone. It doesn't make you more or less of a person. Me being trans doesn't make me special. It shouldn't. It should just make me trans. Like, that's all it is. It should not mean anything else other than that. But sadly, we've had to make it into a label just to survive. Because we have to say, I am trans and I am proud. Because people have tried to erase us. We need the label, or else they erase us. But that can change. I really hope that society can change that way. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, but I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fucking fight for it. Okay? Because I can't wait 50 years and then maybe it'll be better. You have to fight for it. You can't. It's not. If you're not gonna fight for it, it's not gonna happen. And people generally just don't understand that because they're like, oh, well, I'm not trans, so that's a trans thing. That's only for trans people to fix. No, it's not, because people in your life are trans. In fact, you know, that person might be trans themselves. You know, there's people in your community that are trans. There's people at your church. Parents, children, siblings. Anybody can be anything. So it's like, if you think it doesn't affect you, it does. Just like black issues, like it affects communities of it, no matter, even if you're not black. Because you have black people in your community. They're your friends. They're your family. And, you know, we're all brothers and sisters. And some people don't really define themselves as a gender, but they don't consider themselves as a brother or sister. But that's like, you know, that's a certain type of person. Some people don't even care about labels at all, you know? Some people are just, I'm a person, I don't care about all this stuff. Well, that's fine too. But it doesn't mean everybody else should think that way. Because that's not possible. You can't force people to think something that they don't believe. So if somebody believes that, you know, being gay is a sin and that trans people are evil, like, you can't really change that. But, like, what you can do is you can make sure that everybody is living peacefully and that people's human rights aren't violated. They can continue to believe that all they want, you know, in their own privacy of their own mind. But once they start bringing that place to the community, once they start bringing those thoughts to the community, they become a problem. Because now you're inflicting your beliefs on others who don't share those beliefs at all. In fact, you're actively harming them. Bam! Got him.
An enemy has been slain.
Nice. Uh-oh. Am I gonna take the L? No. I don't know, it's just a really fucked up situation. At the end of the day, I don't know if there really is a solution at all. But honestly, like, you know, I don't really have a choice but to try to live in a better, and try to make the world a little bit of a nicer place, at least for myself. In my own private life, you know, as best I can. And find people who are, you know, my people. Not just trans people, but people who are just evolved, different people who are just accepting. You know, I don't want to just be isolated just to LGBTQ people. Like, I'm not really feel myself, like, you know, I am a part of the queer community, you know, but I don't really consider myself a part of that culture. Like, I'm just a person, and I don't want to have to, like, only exist in LGBT spaces, you know what I mean? It's like, that's like saying, oh, you know, colored only. Like, I should be able to exist with people, you know, like everyone else, you know? God damn it. Yeah, either way, you know, it's like it's I don't know, I talk about this a lot and I try not to. There's other things to talk about, and sometimes I get so much stuck. I get so stuck on this topic. And it's like it's so familiar to me. And it's just like I wish I could have more to talk about. I wish I was allowed to have more of a personality than just being trans. Like I wish that was allowed. I wish I could enjoy things other than, you know. I wish I could talk about different things, but it's just so encompassing on my mind. I do talk about other things, but it's just like I just don't really feel like I can really fit into most places. It's like I just can't, you know, once, because, you know, most people do not think about this stuff. And it's really hard to interact with people who don't think about stuff the way you do. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it just really sucks. Like, you know, something that deeply affects somebody just seems to like be like, it's not that people like don't care about it or that they like think, or like that they're like a evil person or whatever. But it's almost like you're speaking a completely different language. It's like they just don't understand how serious of an issue it is. That like certain things don't affect them. Like, you know, stuff, you know, there's 1% of the population is trans. And so it directly affects all of us who are trans. But most people will not meet a trans person in their entire life. Like, honestly. Unless it's like on the internet. Or like just a, you know, someone, like a passing, you know, just like in passing, you know, like. Oh shit. God damn it. You know, everybody's going through stuff, but I think what it is, like, people get so focused on their own stuff, they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm going through stuff too, you know, you should just toughen up just like I have. And it's like, yeah, you may have toughened up, but not everybody has toughened up at the level that you have. You know, it's like, you know, if like, maybe you've like, you know, played basketball for 10 years, you know, not everybody has played basketball for 10 years. So, you know, to act like everybody else should be as good at basketball as you is ridiculous. Nobody would ever think, you know, take that seriously. But for some reason with like, with stuff like being trans or not, like, people don't see that that's like a similar thing. That, yeah, like, a lot of people are just now starting to see like what's going on, because not everybody experiences what we experience, but a lot of people are starting to see the effects of what we experience, and people are starting to figure it out. Like, hey, like, this is actually a lot worse than I thought it was. I thought that trans people had it hard. I didn't know how hard they had it. Like, it's not the same as, like, the hardship that other people have. Like, it's very specific. Like, it's not the same as, like, oh, well, you know, everybody struggles with their identity at some point. Like, no, this is different, okay? Like, this is not, like, the same as, like, oh, you know, should I go take a year off of college? You know, like, it's not the same thing. It's not a lifestyle. Okay? Like, this is just who you are. And it's not set in stone either. It's not a diagnosis. Gender dysphoria is diagnosed only because, you know, so that we can get treatment. But being trans is, like, not a single thing. It's like a bunch of things, and it's very nuanced. It completely depends on the individual. Just like anybody else. And I don't know. I get tired of talking about it so much, and I hope there's going to be a day when I don't have to talk about it. And yeah, like, I do have to take care of my own mental health, and sometimes that means, like, hey, maybe I should, like, limit how much I talk about it. And right now, I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a weird place lately, but I'm actually, like, doing pretty well. I'm kind of doing really well right now. Like, things are going my way, things are going right, but it's like it doesn't feel like it is. And so, like, I just hope I don't self-sabotage, you know, like, because I have this habit of, like, everything's going right, but then I screw it up by thinking that it's not going right, and then I actually make that happen, and I really can't make that happen this time. Okay, like, I need these surgeries. I can't jeopardize this, because it'll ruin my life. It'll destroy my life.
No reason to hold back.
An ally has been slain.
Catching up.
Shut down. You rock.
But yeah, you know, like, I really wish I could just, like, you know, enjoy things. Like, I really just want to be, like, have fun gaming with friends. Honestly, it's really hard to even find people to be friends with. But, you know, I have people who pop into my stream and they sometimes game with me. So that's what this is all about. You know, there's a lot more to it. You know, I do, you know, make content that is, like, non-interactive. But I feel like a lot of the streaming part, at the very least, like, that's really what streaming is about. You know, all the other content is its own thing. But I feel like as far as streaming goes, the real reason to stream is so that you can game together. You know, like, people can find you, like, potentially find you. Like, if people, like, say, hey, like, I discovered you, you know, through a YouTube video, or I saw you streaming. I just happened to find you streaming on Twitch somehow. And, And I thought that, like, you know, I played this game too. You know, I'm wondering if you want to play. And it's like, yeah, or maybe not, but, you know, hang out and play and talk about the game, or hang out and play the game, just like, you know, just like we were hanging out in person, but in the way that we can only uniquely do on the internet. I think that's really what this is all about. That's the whole reason to go streaming. Is to, like, you know, learn about the game and enjoy the game with other people who like the game. And I feel like that's... I mean, there's obviously other stuff to it too, because I'm still a person. And I still broadcast, like, a lot of stuff that, like, is personal to me, and that's just kind of how I am as a streamer. Some people don't do that. Some people are more private, and that's fine too. But I really want to, like, put myself out there so that I can interact with people. Like, I want a game together. Yeah, and you know, streaming is actually very antisocial. But it doesn't have to be. You know, like, it is what you make it. You could stream and just, like, kind of make it your own island. That could be a thing. But you know, if you stream, like, you might, and if you, like, create, if you get discovered, you know, you don't get discovered on stream, unfortunately, most of the time. Sometimes people find me, you know, actually most of the people who found me on my stream, you know, they trickled in while I was streaming. So, but you have to understand that, like, you know, it's like a few people, like a handful of people, and it's usually only like 1 or 2 people at a time. You know, most of the time I have 0 viewers. Okay, but, like, you know, it would be nice if people actually discovered me, because then, like, we could game together. Or I could just have an audience to talk to, and maybe they'd be interested in what I have to say. Maybe that's why they would stay, is because they like what I have to say. Or maybe they actually want a game together. You know, there's so many different people out there who are a viewer. Different types of viewers. Well, anybody who harasses you is not somebody is probably a nobody anyway. The people who matter aren't going to treat you that way. They're not gonna, and also, you know, you ban them. You ban the people who are bothersome, and not everybody can do it. Not everybody has the kind of. I'm not saying it's like a weakness or anything, but not everybody is built to be a streamer. But I mean, honestly, if you keep at it, it kind of makes you into a streamer. Like, I used to get really offended and upset about everything, but streaming kind of, like, forced me to have a thicker skin, because it's necessary to survive. Because otherwise, you're just going to be upset all the time, and the natural state of existence is to not be harmed. And so, what your body does, what your mind does. React Thingy owns banana, flesh, ice, crumbs, sandwich heart. React Thingy owns banana, flesh, ice, crumbs, sandwich heart. I don't... Is that supposed to mean something? Like, are you trying to, like, trick me or something? Like, or is it just random? Like, Deodio, I don't know. Deodio. Like, is that supposed to sound like something? Are you trying to trick me? Or are you just being random? Well, I don't know about that, Cody-san, but we're definitely awesome. Come on, don't be discriminatory. Everybody's different, Cody-san. 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 I'm already getting tired. Might be a short stream today. I'm gonna try to finish Smite Night because it's a limited time event. And I need one more win. So I need to actually get a team that wins. The past bunch of games have been like total loss. Uh-oh. God damn it. We got some nice, fun Sonic the Hedgehog music going.
Starting with green, and going to blue. Come thousands of combinations and variations, shades and hues. That is, a blue-green color. What is happening here is called mixing.
You hate the Sonic movies? Come on, they're fun. I haven't seen the new one though. No. Sorry, everybody's different, Cody. Some people need surgeries, some don't. I don't know why you feel that way. Why do you feel like some people have to do their why some people's bodies should be a certain way? You know, some people need their bodies to be changed and you might not understand it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't make anyone better or worse, it's just people are who they are. Maybe you like trans bodies that don't have surgery. Well, there's plenty of trans people who don't have surgery. You don't have to, you know, there's plenty of people who match your body type that you're attracted to. If you think trans girls are better, that's because you are attracted to trans girls better. It doesn't mean that we're objectively better or worse. And you know, whether or not we have surgery, it's an individual thing. It has nothing to do with what other people think. And so, you know, I feel like if you truly respect trans people, then you should respect that. And a lot of trans people will ask you to do that. You know, you don't truly respect someone if you're trying to force them to be a certain way just because that's what you like. You know, there's plenty of trans girls out there that don't get surgeries. There's plenty, and I'm glad for it because I'm very attracted to trans girls, the trans women who haven't had surgery, because I'm getting my surgery. You know, I'm making a pocket for them. You know. So I can fit like a glove. Yeah, I'm getting a bit tired. I think Yeah, I'm having facial surgery in November, and I'm having vaginoplasty. I'm on the wait list. It should happen around a year from now, if everything goes right. And it's making me so happy knowing, but it's so painful waiting for it. It's truly something that I need in order to feel like life is worth living. And so that's why I'm saying that if you feel that trans people shouldn't get the surgery, I feel like that's highly disrespectful towards the person, because that means that you truly don't appreciate the person. You don't want them to be happy. You don't want them to love themselves. You know, beauty is personal, and you don't have, you know, not everybody is the same. You know, like, there's plenty of other trans girls out there that want to keep their penis the way it is. So, you know, not everybody's gonna date you either, so it's kind of presumptuous, I think. I think when people say, oh, I think that this be because I'm attracted to that, I think it's hot. Well, it's like, you're assuming that that person wants to be with you in the first place. Like, it's pretty presumptuous. You know, so it's like, there's all sorts of different people. Not everybody wants to be with you. You might be attracted to someone, it doesn't mean they want to be with you. You can be attracted to them, they might not be attracted to you. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean they're a bad person for not returning your feelings. All it means is that some people just aren't compatible, and that's fine. You know, you could still be friends. In fact, I would rather be friends with somebody than force myself to be someone different just to have someone attracted to me. You know? Some people aren't attracted to trans feminine bodies who have a vagina, and that's perfectly fine. A lot of people who are attracted to trans feminine bodies, they want a penis on a girl. Okay? And that's perfectly fine. When I'm attracted to trans women, I'm attracted to girl dick. Okay? Like, that's what I'm attracted to. Naturally breasted girl dick. It's a very deeply personal thing, and it's different for everybody. It's not silly. It's a deep feeling that's raw, and it's really difficult to put into words. It's just a feeling of that it needs to happen, and it's just like you can never be happy without it. There's no, like, I mean, I can try to pinpoint like exactly why I feel that way, but it really doesn't matter why. Because the only thing that matters is that I can never be happy without it. And in order to live a healthy, happy life, I need to have as least resistance as possible. And this is like, if life is already like smashing into a wall, having gender dysphoria and not being able to get the surgery is adding a second wall in front of it. So it's like you have a wall here that you're already pounding in front, but then you also have to pound through the second wall at the same time. So it gets rid of that wall. And there's still a wall, okay? Like, everybody is facing a wall on the planet. There's just being a human being, you're already facing that wall. But being trans or being black or anything that society has like completely destroyed livelihoods for, people's happiness for, just for being different. But also there's the way society treats you, but also there's internalized dysphoria, which is actually a huge deal. And I don't really know how to express how painful it is to know that you need your body to be a certain way and not being able to make it happen. Because it has nothing to do with whether people accept you. It has nothing to do with how people treat you, how well your life is. You could be a millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire. It doesn't matter. The feeling is the same. There's a reason why people get these surgeries. There's a reason. It's because you can never be happy without it if you need it. But if you don't need it, then you don't need it. That's fine. You're very lucky. You're banned. Sorry. We don't accept spammers in here. We don't buy followers. You don't get viewers by paying money. You're the top of Olympus on Twitch. We will provide you with viewers and subscribers on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and more. That's not how it works. You can't just buy followers. You really like trans girl, so that's you like you. So that means that's okay. That's okay. But it doesn't mean that people have to force their will. Just like how some people, some people, they only like women who are skinny, okay? They don't like women who are heavier. That doesn't mean that people who are heavier are bad. And yet, most people understand this. But there's people out there that think that every woman should be skinny and wear makeup and look a certain way. Okay, like, it's the same kind of deal. You might be attracted to natural trans women, like trans women who haven't had surgery, pre-op trans women. You are attracted and appreciate pre-op trans women. That's valid. That's perfectly fine. Nobody is telling you you're transphobic because of that. What people are telling you is that you're transphobic for insisting that every trans person adhere to that. Do you understand that? It's just like saying that every woman has to be skinny or they're not a real woman. Like, they're not hot. Like, no, some people are attracted to many different body types. So somebody can be attractive to someone. You can be attracted to someone and somebody else is not attracted to that person. Like, it's very different for every person. She is a trans girl because I'm still trans regardless of what my body looks like. Whether I had surgery or not. Whether I've had hormones or not, I'm still trans because trans is an internal thing. It has nothing to do with what I do with my body, but it also has everything to do with it because it determines what I need to do in order to live my life. And also, like, here's the thing: this is kind of a toxic thing that people do. People are not required to turn you on. Okay? People are not required to date you. You can be attracted to someone. It doesn't mean they're required to return those feelings. And their existence does not, whether or not you're attracted to them, is not like a requirement for them being valid human beings. Okay? Like, just because you're not attracted to someone, well, some people are. Other people are attracted to post-op trans women. Okay, and you can just move on. Not everybody is going to want to date you. In fact, most people will not date you. In fact, like, most people that you've met in your life have not dated you. Like, you go to the grocery store, you go to the checkout, there's like, a random person there. That person's most likely not going to be a romantic interest. You kind of interact with them for like a few minutes, and then you never see them again. But yet, some people, like, they see this, like, they put like relationships on like intimate, like, sexual relationships. They put it on this giant pedestal. But really, it's like, we're all just people. And sometimes you're attracted to certain people, and sometimes people return those feelings. And most of the time, people don't. And the thing is like, your entire existence is not determined on whether or not someone is attracted to you or not. And you could be attracted to someone, but they're not required to return those feelings. And they're still, they're not required to change for you. Just accept people for who they are. Move on. If you're attracted to someone who's pre-op, but they're going to get surgery later, then you need to learn how to accept that, because they're going to do it. First of all, you are not a part of that decision at all. You are not a part of that process at all. You're literally a person who is not even connected at all to that. You are just another person. And it's the same whether they're trans or not. Like, if you're like, hey, I only like women who play saxophone. Well, then, like, you don't have to be attracted to women who play clarinet. It doesn't mean everybody has to play saxophone. Some people play clarinet, okay? Yeah, and I hope you understand that, like, I'm guessing that if you go around with that attitude that you've had, people are going to call you transphobic, because that is transphobic. You're basically insisting that trans people adhere to your standard. But nobody should ever adhere to anyone's standard. And it's been kind of an issue just for women in general, like men just insisting that you have to wear makeup. You have to wear, like, this clothes, or I'm not going to keep you hired at work. Or, there's been sexual harassment throughout history where, certain women didn't get advances in the job because they weren't considered attractive. You know, like, oh, put some makeup on in the office, honey. Like, you know, that kind of shit, you know? It's the same kind of thing. And women have been facing it since like the beginning of time, okay? Like, and trans women are no different. And they're not to say that there's a different thing going on for men and trans men included, of course. Because like there's a different standards for men. It's a different problem. It's not like worse or better. It's just a different problem. And also a lot of the problem ends up being a problem for women. Because a lot of and also trans people, because a lot of the stuff that women like have to deal with is because men haven't dealt with their own shit. And that's really what it is. Like it's men who refuse to take ownership of the fact that there are certain things that men do to each other that create an environment of toxic behavior that permeates throughout their entire community. And when people start to take ownership of that, good things happen. And it sucks because you can't really make somebody change. But you can remind them like, hey, you're acting really shitty right now. Can you stop, please? Okay, like I can't force you to stop. I could ban you if you're being toxic in my chat, but that's not going to change you. In fact, it might even further like push you away. Obviously, there's boundaries I have to set for my chat, and you're not breaking those boundaries. You seem very reasonable. But a lot of people do break those boundaries, and they refuse to even listen. And they just continually, you know, you can act toxic all you want, but I also have the, you know, people say, oh, I have freedom of speech. Well, I have the freedom of speech to say that you can't say that speech because you're infringing upon my freedom of speech, right? Like, you can go into a public area and start, you know, and start like, you know, giving people Dutch ovens, you know, like, I don't know, like. If you fart in an elevator, people are going to be weirded out by you. Like if you do it on purpose. Like you purposely fart in an elevator, people are going to be pissed off. Oh, but I have the right to do it. It's my freedom of speech. I can fart in an elevator. It's not against the law. Well, yeah, it's not against the law, but you're being a dick. Like people don't want to smell your ass, okay? Like anyway, I'm going to head out. I'm getting kind of tired and I don't think I can run a longer stream today. I hope everyone has a good night. Bye bye.